Hey, what's up, guys? It's John. As you can see, got my beard trimmed a little bit, almost look like a human. I'm kidding. But this has nothing to do with politics right now. This is my love for professional wrestling in general. I've been a long time fan. I've been to a lot of shows, a lot of house shows, a lot of dark matches shows. I mean, a lot of independents. You know, my friends have traveled, took me to meet a lot of the wrestlers, and I met Bret Hart. I met, Jim Ross. I met Lex Luger. I met, a lot of the legends, Mick Foley, and I know, so it's more on us what's upsetting me with all these releases. And look, I understand. I totally understand. Some people just doesn't work out. And I'm not necessarily a big fan or a fan of certain people, of their character or what. And they're all cool people, nice people. I'm just talking about their character on TV. They're all heels and faces, and they're all pretty cool, nice people. But what is taking me off? I'm trying not to swear. I'm just so PO'd right now. What a certain company is doing, if and what taking me off is, look, I understand wrestling history. I understand the Rey Mysterios. I understand the Samoan history. I understand, Randy Orton's history. I respect them all. But Cody Rhodes's history. I know my wrestling history. What is ticking me off is all these mid and low cards are just being discarded like nothing. If you're not part of a legacy family, you absolutely have no shot of making it. And thank God for AEW. And, to be honest, I haven't been watching it, but I look on on the results, on Google or whatever, and I like it a lot. But it just takes me off something, and I'm naming names. I don't care. And it's I think the company, but who bought out WWE. And what's ticking me off is and then you hear Roman Reigns is not going to be on TV, and you know I don't know. It seems like with the NBA, I'm not a basketball fan, but if you pay obscene amount of money for traveling, food alone, and it's not cheap, guys, and the NBA stars are not playing. I would be ticked off, and same thing. I'm a Yankee fan. If I pay good money and I see Aaron Judge is not playing or whatever, for whatever reason. I mean, if he's hurt, then I can understand. But what pissed me off, PO me, excuse my language, as you can tell, I'm upset. That company only cares about influencers, and how many clickbaits, and you know, the New Day has been around a long while, and I'm really upset, and it's really hard, because I love professional wrestling so much, and just like everything else, it's just the same old stuff, same storylines. I can do a show. I bet you, If WWE let me do Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, I can do at least one good show if they will let me. I can't wrestle anymore. I'm 58 years old, but I mean, I would love to learn how to maybe manage or be an announcer or or something. I don't know, what Michael Cole's doing, and but what I'm trying to say is that thank God for AEW and a couple other companies, and where I live, local wrestling is coming back, independent wrestling is coming back, and I think that's great. You have another avenue to work on your craft and hone it, and so. But if you're never going to get a chance, they can have all, OVW, they can have the all NXT, they have, all these, performance centers they want. But if they're never going to get a chance because they're not part of a legacy family, what is the whole point? And all that company wants is influencers, and stuff. And like CM Punk said, lower the ticket prices, please. So people can wait for a couple hours and forget about the world, and all this stuff. I'm very lucky that I got to meet a lot of the wrestlers, and I'm honored. I'm humbled. And stuff. So, but a company, either sell it, to somebody that cares about wrestling, and not just money. There is a hunger for it still. And I'm maybe they because I love it so much. I respect them all. And it hurts. It really freaking hurts, guys. I'm ranting for a while. I know if you love professional wrestling like I do, people don't understand. They're out all year. They don't have a off season. And you still gotta learn to take the bumps every day. Day in, day out. And so I don't know, guys. I hope something changes for the better. I really do, guys. And I hope that this goes to the right people. And I want WWE and professional wrestling to always be there for us. So we can forget about our problems for a couple hours, have a little fun, and stuff. And not in charge of our lane and stuff. So, but that's my rant, guys. And if you like this content, please help out. This is raw, unfiltered, unapologetic. I'll be respectful. And I'm listening to other opinions, and still be respectful with each other. And no swearing and no bullying. All right, guys, but I just hope something changes, and but there's nothing else to watch on TV and all the streaming services. I really don't watch really that much TV if at all. But let's see what happens. I'm praying. I'm hoping that professional wrestling will get better storylines, different storylines, and so. Well, God bless. Take care. Be safe. And so. All right. Have a good night, guys.